Hey everyone, so it's Ciara. So as you can probably tell from the title of this video, there's a few different ways that you can take self-portraits on the Sony mirrorless systems. I personally use the Sony A7iii. I love this camera. It did take me a little while to kind of figure out the different ways that you can take self-portraits, so I just wanted to get on here and break down the 4 ways that you can take better self-portraits today while we're all stuck inside. So the first option is to shoot with a remote. So I use this remote from Sony. It basically has everything you would need. It has a shutter, a 2-second shutter delay, a record button, display options in terms of the menu and viewing the photos on the camera, and it has like a delete button and a print button. So this is a remote specifically manufactured by Sony, which is great. It's only $25, and it's really helped me in terms of making videos and taking photos because I don't have to get up to click the shutter. I don't have to set the self timer on the camera and just kind of hope it works. I can be in frame and take the picture and not really have to get up a bunch of times, which is great. The great thing about this option is you can still set the time delay on the camera. So I think on the Sony cameras you can set it to a 2-second time delay, a 5-second time delay, and a 10-second time delay. So you can still utilize those options, and then you can customize it even further in the self timer menu because you can take like 3 continuous high-speed photos. Once the shutter goes off, you can take 5, you can take 10. So it makes it really great if you kind of just want to play around and see what you can capture and you move around and get that action shot in. So that really works for me when I'm trying to utilize just my remote. If I have my tripod but I'm just trying to get a quick photo of myself, that's a really great option. Second option that I have for you today is the intervalometer function on the Sony's cameras. So for this function, when Sony released the 3.0 firmware update for the Sony A7iii, they added in the intervalometer, which is really great for like hyperlapses and motion lapses, but you can also use it for self-portraits, which I really like. So you can set the amount of photos you want each capture to make, and then you can also set in the time between each capture, which is really great because you can kind of just set up your tripod and just go into frame and it'll just take the photos for you. I know in terms of like travel photos, this is what I've used before, which has been really great because I don't really have the time or another person with me all the time to take a photo. So it's really great to just kind of walk into frame and see what you can do with the intervalometer function. So some pros and cons for both the remote shoot option and the intervalometer option. So it's great because these are really cost-effective options because the remote is only about $25 on Amazon and on like B&H Photo and Adorama camera. You can't see what's on the back of your camera, so you're kind of guessing and hoping that you're in focus, and you might not be. I've had some really frustrating experiences where you think that you're in focus and you can see the photo that you would have gotten if it was perfectly in focus, but it's not, and it's like the worst feeling in the world. So I would say it's an option if you kind of don't want to spend a bunch of money or have a lot of other extra equipment with you, but it's not always the easiest option and it can be kind of frustrating at times, but it works. And if you want to devote the time to like getting it right, it can still be a really great option. You can get some really great photos from it. So the third tip that I have for you today is to shoot with your phone. So I know a lot of camera systems have a remote shooting app that you can get on your phone, Apple or Android, where you can see what's displayed on the back of your camera on your smartphone and use your phone as a remote. Same way you would use the remote that I showed you earlier as a remote, but you can set the settings from your camera. So you can set the aperture, ISO, shutter speed, and you can see what is displayed on the back of your camera on your phone. So this is a great option if you just kind of want to quickly see if you're in focus, and if you got the framing that you want, it's really great because you can actually see what the camera sees. But I don't always love this option, specifically for the Sony Imaging Edge app, because you can't actually touch to focus in the app. Now, I switched to Sony from Canon about a year ago, and on the Canon app, you can touch to focus on your phone. So I was a little bit frustrated to know that you can't touch to focus in the app to Sony, because sometimes it would be a little bit off, or I would go back behind my camera and realize that the focus wasn't where I wanted it to be. So you can kind of play around with it, and that's a pretty cost-effective option because you already have a phone, so you only need your smartphone and your camera to work together to get that shot. But it is a little bit limiting because you can't customize it to the extent that I would like to if I had full control like I do behind my camera. So the fourth option is actually to tether shoot with your laptop. So I only recently started doing this, like while we're all stuck at home. That's actually kind of changed my life. I didn't realize that there was a desktop app to the Sony mobile app that I mentioned earlier. That's been really great because you can tether shoot with a tether cord to your laptop, and you have just the same functionality as you would on the back of your camera. So I'll add in a screen capture or a screen record here and I'll kind of go through the app with you. And the great thing about this option too is you can actually utilize the intervalometer function on the camera through the app on your computer. So that kind of adds a few of the options that I mentioned before all in one. So you have the remote option, the intervalometer option, and the remote viewing option on your computer. And that's been really great because when you capture on the intervalometer option but it's tether shot to your computer, the photos actually don't get saved to your memory card. What you do is you select the folder on your desktop that you want the photos to go to, and then it'll automatically send all the raw photos to that folder, and you can automatically upload them to Lightroom or Photoshop or whatever editing software you use directly from that folder. So that makes it really easy and it really seamless. I don't have to upload all the photos from my card to my computer. It's all in one place. So that's been a really great option to utilize. It's probably my favorite option at this point because I'm at home. I wouldn't use it if I was like going out to take self-portraits like out in the world, because it is a lot of equipment to lug around. You have your computer, the tether cord, your tripod, and the camera. So it's kind of a lot of stuff to have like if you're trying to go outside and take pictures like in the world. But when you're stuck at home, like it makes it easy to see what you're doing, take the photos, manipulate it to the exact degree that you want, and it makes it easy for post-processing so you have all the photos already on your computer. So that's all for today's video. I hope you found it helpful. I know it took me a very long time to kind of figure out all the different types of remote shooting options that you have on the Sony cameras, but it's really changed my view of how to take self-portraits and how to not get super frustrated while taking self-portraits. Let me know in the comments which option you want to try or which options you've tried before, just to kind of see like what else out there, or if you have any other ideas of different ways that you can utilize self-portraits that I didn't already mention. I'd love to hear them. I really like photography and videography, and I think it's really cool that we can now kind of learn from each other, even though we're all stuck at home. I think it's just a really fun option for anybody who wants to give it a shot. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was helpful to you, and I'll see you guys next time.